Let me tell you something that will shake you. The reason women don't miss you is not because you are unworthy, not because you are unattractive, not even because she doesn't care. It's because you made yourself too available, too predictable, too easy, and when a woman knows she can reach you at any time, when she knows you'll drop everything the moment she calls, when she knows you will always be there waiting, she has nothing to miss. You've robbed her of the very tension that creates longing. What if I told you that the secret to making a woman miss you badly has nothing to do with sweet words, expensive gifts, or endless attention? What if I told you it's the complete opposite of everything you've been taught, that the more you give without pause, the less she values it, that the more you chase, the faster she runs, that the more available you make yourself, the more invisible you become in her world? This isn't about playing games, it's about psychology. The human mind only cherishes what it fears to lose. And until you understand that, you will keep pouring yourself out and wondering why she feels nothing. Today, I'm going to reveal what no one has ever told you: how absence creates value, how mystery controls her mind, and how purpose makes you unforgettable. And if you stay with me until the very end, you will never see relationships the same way again. Because after this, you won't just know how to make a woman miss you, you'll know how to make her crave you in a way that haunts her long after you're gone. You have been conditioned to believe that love is about constant presence, that the more you give, the more you chase, the more you show up, the more she will value you. Work, and that is the greatest illusion of modern relationships, because the human mind does not cherish what it can predict. It does not crave what it can access at will. The reality is this: people, whether men or women, long for what is absent, not what is permanently available. If you want a woman to miss you deeply, you must first understand the brutal law of human psychology. Scarcity creates value. Think about it. Why do people pay fortunes for rare art, rare diamonds, or rare experiences? It is not always about quality. It is about rarity. The fact that it cannot be found everywhere, the fact that it cannot be possessed by everyone, makes it priceless. Apply this same law to relationships. If you are constantly there, texting morning to night, replying instantly, showing up whenever she demands, you have made yourself common, predictable, and replaceable. There is no room for her to feel your absence, and when absence is missing, longing cannot exist. This is why so many men get trapped in one-sided relationships. They believe their consistency will be rewarded with devotion, but instead it kills the very spark they wanted to ignite. You see, attraction thrives in polarity. It thrives in tension. If she already knows you are always there, her nervous system becomes desensitized. You become background noise. She doesn't even notice you're giving your all because it's too constant, too predictable. The mind craves contrast. It notices presence only when absence has been felt first. I'll give you an example. Imagine you listen to your favorite song every single day, 20 times a day. At first, you love it. It excites you, but soon it becomes ordinary, even irritating. Now imagine you stop listening to it for weeks. One day it comes on unexpectedly. You feel that rush again. That is how desire works. Familiarity without absence destroys intensity. But when you withhold your presence, when you are not constantly available, your presence becomes music again. She hears it, she feels it, and suddenly it matters. And here's the part that will shock you. When you step back, when you stop flooding her with your energy, her mind does something powerful. It fills the gap with imagination. She starts wondering, where is he? Why hasn't he called? What is he doing that is more important than me? These questions echo in her subconscious, and she begins to construct her own answers. That's when you start to live in her thoughts without even speaking a word. And make no mistake, thoughts are more addictive than actions. Once you occupy her imagination, you have already won. But understand this clearly, absence is not about playing childish games. It is not about manipulation. It is about reclaiming your value. It is about showing her and yourself that your presence is not free, that your time is not limitless, that your energy is not something she can drain without consequence. When you step back, you are silently saying, I am not here to be consumed. I am here to be valued. That shift in energy forces her to see you differently. It forces her to miss what she took for granted. And let me add another layer. Here, absence does not only create value for her, it creates clarity for you. When you pull away, you see who she really is. Does she reach back? Does she invest? Does she even notice your silence? Or does she move on without care? Distance exposes truth. It reveals whether her connection to you was genuine or merely convenient. And that is the most liberating knowledge a man can have. So the next time you feel the urge to prove yourself through constant presence, resist. Remind yourself, true desire does not come from what is given endlessly. It comes from what is rare, what is earned, what is not guaranteed. Your absence is not a weakness. It is your greatest weapon. Use it wisely. Because when a woman realizes she cannot have you at her fingertips, that she cannot predict your every move, that your world does not revolve around her, that is when she begins to miss you badly. That is when she feels the hollow space of your silence, and that is when she discovers the value of your presence. Remember this one sentence and let it guide you. She will only miss you when your absence has taught her the weight of your presence. If absence creates value, then mystery sustains desire. A woman does not miss you simply because you are gone. She misses you because she cannot fully decode you. She misses you because your silence forces her to think, and her thoughts have no closure. This is the part most men misunderstand. They believe missing someone is about physical absence only, but the truth is far deeper. Missing someone is about mental occupation, and the human mind is most occupied by questions it cannot answer. Let me explain it more clearly. When you are always talking, always explaining, always sharing every detail of your life, you remove every ounce of curiosity she could have about you. You leave nothing to the imagination, and without imagination there is no obsession. Women, like men, are wired to be fascinated by what they cannot fully understand. When you hand over the entire script of your life, when you flood her with constant texts, constant updates, constant reassurances, you kill the very tension that makes her crave you. Mystery is not about deception. It is not about lying or pretending to be someone you are not. Mystery is about restraint. It is about letting her wonder, letting her fill the silence with her own thoughts, letting her imagination build a version of you that becomes larger than life. Think about this carefully. What haunts people more than the unknown? It is the unanswered question, the half-finished story, the person who left just enough unsaid to keep you awake at night. That is the space where longing is born. When you do not reply immediately, when you do not explain every move, when you allow pauses in conversation, something remarkable happens. Her brain enters a loop of curiosity. She starts asking herself, what is he doing? Why didn't he answer? Who has his attention? Why isn't he chasing me like everyone else? These questions do not just come once and disappear. They repeat, they echo, they dig into her subconscious. And the more they echo, the more emotionally invested she becomes, because the brain seeks closure, and when it cannot find closure, it stays hooked. Here's the paradox: men think being clear and predictable makes them reliable and attractive, but reliability without contrast becomes monotony. Predictability without tension becomes boredom. If she knows exactly when you will text, exactly what you will say, exactly how you will react, you have already lost the spark. Predictability is safe, but it is not exciting. Mystery, on the other hand, awakens her emotions. It makes her nervous system light up. It makes her feel the thrill of not knowing, and that thrill is addictive. But let me make this even deeper. Mystery works because it activates a part of her psychology that is ancient, the instinct to chase what is not easily captured. The unknown has always fascinated the human mind. It represents possibility, it represents potential. And possibility is far more powerful than certainty. Certainty is static, but possibility is alive. When you give her mystery, you give her possibility. You give her space to project her own desires onto you, to imagine you in ways you could never even script yourself. That projection makes you unforgettable. Do not mistake this for coldness. This is not about being emotionally unavailable or cruel. True mystery is balanced with warmth. When you do show up, when you do give attention, it feels amplified because it is not constant. It feels precious because it is rare. Imagine the difference between a stream of water that flows endlessly versus a fountain that bursts at unexpected moments. The stream is ignored because it never stops, but the fountain captures attention every time because it surprises. That is what mystery does. It makes your presence a spark rather than background noise. So if you want a woman to miss you badly, stop over-explaining, stop oversharing, stop eliminating the unknown. Allow her to sit with the silence, allow her to wonder, allow her to miss pieces of the puzzle, because those missing pieces are exactly what will keep her hooked. The more she tries to solve you, the deeper she invests in you. And the truth is, the man who is fully understood is easily forgotten. But the man who remains just out of reach, who carries an air of mystery, who cannot be fully decoded, that is the man who stays in her thoughts long after he has left the room. So remember this: her obsession will never come from the answers you give, it will come from the questions you leave behind. There is one truth that separates the men women forget from the men they never stop thinking about, and it's this: women do not miss men who orbit around them. They miss men who orbit around purpose. A man with no direction, no drive, no mission, he becomes a background character in her life. But a man who stands in his own light, who has something larger than her to pursue, who is not distracted by every demand for attention, that man becomes unforgettable. You see, when your entire identity is tied to her, when your every move is dictated by how she feels, when you drop everything the moment she calls, you become predictable and weak in her eyes. At first, she might enjoy the attention. At first, she might even find it flattering. But over time, she realizes there is nothing to lose with you, because you've already given up everything that made you independent, everything that made you a man. And here's the shocking part: what a woman misses most is not your attention. She misses your strength, your direction, your purpose. The men women crave are not the ones who answer every message within seconds. They are not the ones who are always free, always available, always bending themselves to fit her needs. The men who stay in her thoughts are the ones who move with focus, who protect their time, who chase a vision bigger than her. Because when a man is driven by purpose, he becomes magnetic, his energy shifts, his presence feels different. He is not reaching for her to complete him. He is already whole, he is already grounded, and she feels that. She senses that she cannot consume him entirely, that his world does not collapse into hers. And that tension, that awareness, makes her long for him even more. Think about this from a psychological perspective. Humans are drawn to value, and value is determined by rarity and demand. A man with no mission is abundant. There are countless men who live only to chase women. But a man who is rare, a man whose life is filled with goals, projects, ambition, discipline, that man is scarce. That man is high value, not because he says it, but because he lives it, and scarcity, as we already discussed, creates longing. When she knows your attention must be earned, when she knows she does not own all of you, she begins to crave every piece she can get. But here's the danger many men fall into. They confuse purpose with arrogance. They think having goals means dismissing women, ignoring them, devaluing them. That is not purpose. True purpose is not coldness. It is alignment. It is about knowing where you are going, knowing what matters to you, and not abandoning that just to be liked. It is about carrying yourself with discipline and direction, so that when you do give her your presence, it is meaningful. Because if your life has no structure, your presence carries no weight. But if your life has a mission, your presence becomes sacred. Now, reflect on this. Why do women miss men after they leave? Why do they replay old memories, old conversations, old moments? It is not always because of love. Sometimes it is because those men had a sense of self, a sense of destiny that could not be swallowed whole. And when a woman encounters that, she realizes that she cannot replace it easily. She can replace charm. She can replace attention, she can replace flattery, but she cannot replace purpose. A man with purpose leaves a mark on her psychology. He represents something greater than the relationship itself, so the real question you must ask yourself is not how do I make her miss me? The real question is, am I building a life that is worth missing? If you are chasing her more than you are chasing your mission, you are already lost. But if you are building yourself, if you are dedicated to becoming someone stronger, wiser, more capable every single day, she will feel that energy without you needing to say a word. And when you step away, when you give her space, when you choose your path over her drama, she will miss you with an intensity that nothing else can create. So remember this truth. A woman may enjoy attention, but she will never truly miss attention. What she will miss, what she will crave, what she will never forget is a man with purpose.